Hello, this is Jamie from randomizeuser.com with a basic tutorial on how to get started with RimWorld, now that it's arrived on Steam and scenarios are in the game. This is intended for RimWorld beginners who have played for a short time but are confused by how it all works. Right, let's get our colony started. New colony, and you get the scenario screen. Right, so we're going to choose the classic RimWorld experience because that's the best one for beginners. You start with 3 people and a good balance of starting materials. The other stuff is for later once you're a bit more experienced. However, if this is your first time, you may want to weigh things in your advantage by clicking Crash Landed, then clicking Scenario Editor, then Edit Mode, and then you can maybe cheat yourself in a bit of extra stuff like some extra cash. I'm going to also add an extra person because it's easy to show things off in this video. And bear in mind though, if you remove all restrictions, you won't end up learning some important lessons about how to manage limited people and supplies. Bearing all that in mind, let's go on to the next screen where you choose your storyteller. Cassandra Classic is the one that you'll want to go on to later on, but for now let's choose Phoebe Chillax on free play, which means you'll get hardly any story events. This does not make for a very story rich experience though, so once you've learned how to play, I'd avoid playing on this mode. Choose any old map, and then choose a nice temperate place to start a colony. So choose somewhere quite low down with a year-round growing period, so you won't have to worry about crops not growing during the winter. Do check the average temperatures in case you get anywhere too cold or hot. This seems fine, so I'm just going to choose that. Press select site. Here's your colonists. Just choose whatever gives you, just accept, because it should give you a good balance of things. However, if you do see anything that leaps out at you as like completely lacking, like this guy can only bloody grow stuff, so you might want to swap that out with a bit of the old randomization. So just double check that there isn't anything that you're sorely missing, and then you press start. Right, so here's my colony. Not much has happened so far. I'm not going to go into all the menu screens because hopefully you should know all that by now. But the first thing you should do is make sure that all these things with red crosses don't have red crosses on them, because otherwise they'll ignore them. So double click on all of them and press this, which will forbid them. So they will be able to interact with them. So do that for the survival meals, or any medicine, some of the money, the steel, and also the weapons, although we won't be looking at weapons in this tutorial. Right, so that's good, and we've got all our stuff, just make sure that there's some wood up there as well. You'll find things scattered quite far and wide, so yes, double click on them. Lots of steel, unforbid, and they will actually start gathering that when they need it. First of all, you'll need to start a stockpile, so go to Architect, Zone, and Stockpile. I'm going to put that there. So I'm going to drag it out, release, and you have our first stockpile. It'll put everything on there, and just select it like that. It'll put everything on there, which is like good stuff. So basically all the positive stuff, all with a green tick. So you'll also want to create a rival dumping stockpile zone away from your colony. Let's put it over here where all these shitty rocks are. So all the crap, all the stuff that you don't want near your colony, they'll go and dump there. So that is chunks of rock and stuff and corpses. So we don't want to build our colony anywhere near this, obviously. We want to build it a bit closer to this stockpile. If you want to tweak the stockpiles, you can switch things off. So I'm going to switch off food, and I'm also going to build a second stockpile over here, because we're going to build a colony just here. And I want to put a food stockpile, so clear all, and put on food. So all the food will go there, and we can build a kitchen right next to it, and everything will be groovy. Cool. Right, okay, so now we've got the stockpile sorted, so everything's going to be a bit arranged. We're going to see how to get some raw material. You'll first of all you want to build everything out of wood because it's plentiful. So you click on any tree that's decently grown and chop the wood. Do this quite a few times on bigger trees rather than smaller ones to give them a chance to grow. You can allocate orders like this as well by going to Architect Orders and then selecting a lot of things all at once. However, it is a little buggy at times, so if you try and do that with chopping wood in this build, it accidentally gives you harvesting instead of chopping. So make sure that doesn't happen. Which I have to click on it and press chop wood instead. So do bear in mind that there might be that bug in the version you play. Right, so they're going to start chopping wood, which means that we can also build a house. So, first of all, go to your structure, and then we need to build a wall. Click on it once and choose wood, because we don't want to build it out of precious steel or anything. So do the same with door. Select the wall, and I shall build my first structure there. Just drag it out like that, and put in a door as well. That is now officially a room, and they'll automatically put a roof on it. You'll have to manually put a floor in there though, if you want one. We do, although that's not essential. That's going to be our kitchen, because it's next to there, so we'll also need a barracks. What you should do is give everyone their own bedroom, but since we're just starting off, I'll just put everyone into one place. You can already see the red thing saying not enough wood stored. But don't worry about that, because it only counts the wood that's stored on a stockpile. There's plenty of other spare wood lying about, so it'll use that as well. Early on, you'll need to keep on making sure that you've got enough wood, so do keep on chopping trees down. And the colonists who have got the constructing skill switched on are now taking care of all this, so that's Dunlop and Tukoi. And slowly but surely, we shall start to get something good. In the meantime, let's choose architect, furniture, and bed. We're going to give them all beds. Click, choose wood, and put in 4 beds in here. Yeah, they're going to complain about this because they don't like sleeping in a room with other people unless they're having sex with them, and that does happen. So I'll just chop all the wood down from this place so that there's no trees in the bedroom. They'll use wood to build those beds, and we'll have somewhere to sleep tonight, which is all very convenient. So as they construct that, we're going to see how to get food, because that'll become an issue very quickly. We have very little in storage, just a few survival meals and stuff like that. Now the easiest bit of food to get is raspberries. So if you see a raspberry bush and it's big enough, you can choose harvest, and they'll pick some berries from it. That one isn't ripe enough yet, so we can't harvest that. So you will have to look maybe far and wide to actually find some that are useful. There's some. That's not going to help us very much at all, is it, though? So let's start growing some crops. And this is a long-term thing. You won't get the food out immediately, but go to Architect, Zone Area, and choose Growing Zone. I recommend doing 3 types of crops. So let's put in a field there, and a field there. Now select Zone 1. We're going to plant potatoes there automatically, so it defaults to that. Anyone with the growth skill will come and plant things. Later on, anyone with the chopping, the cutting skill will harvest them. So now I'm going to choose field number 2 and change that to corn. Field number 3 and change that to rice. All have different lengths of growth, so they'll all come to ripen at different times. I also recommend, once anything has come to about 50% growth, set up a second field of the same thing as well, so that you'll get 2 harvests in the same period. But we're not going to worry about that just yet. So someone's going to start planting at some point, but for now, our bedrooms are nearly done. Okay, so we are going to start to need to get some meat as well, because berries aren't going to sustain us, and the crops aren't going to happen for a long time. So we will need to go hunting. So I'm going to introduce you to the work screen very quickly, and this prioritises things. If it's got a tick mark in it, that person will do that thing. Things towards the left will be done first, and only if there's nothing to do on that row, it'll do things towards the right-hand side. So at the moment, Dunlap will prefer to mine than he will to art. So that's all very nice. So do check that there's enough coverage. Like, for instance, if there's only one person doing construction and you need to do a lot of construction, you might need to temporarily hire someone. But we're not going to worry about that. So the hunter is Dunlap. Is Dunlap doing anything at the moment? Just wondering. Good. Okay, so we're going to give the hunter a gun. So let's go over... let's choose Dunlap. Right-click on that. Rifle, which came in our original ship. Equip survival rifle. And then Dunlap will go over there. Once we've done that, and find something to hunt, and we shall hunt it. So we'll mark it as ready for the hunt. I can always cancel that if necessary. To start with, just choose things that are easy to kill. Otherwise, things might attack you back, and that would be tragic. So there's a rabbit there as well. Oh, it's actually a hare. So there we go. Dunlap has already killed a squirrel, and has gone to dump it in our dumping zone, which is over here. That's a bit far away from the kitchen though, so you might want to have another sort of storage zone really near the kitchen that is just for corpses. Speaking of the kitchen, now we're going to get some meat in. We need to set up a bit of furniture in the kitchen. First of all, and we need to go to production. First of all, choose fueled stove, which will use wood to cook things. When placing these things, use Q and E to revolve and then place it down, making sure that the circle is somewhere where someone can stand. So that's the stove, and we also need a butchering table to butcher some corpses. It would be a good idea at this point to also whack in a quick extra door so they can actually go straight in. So they're going to build that kitchen up and everything will be nice. However, it is getting dark. So at some point very soon, they're all going to start to want to head to bed and go to sleep. So let's leave them working for a while. Right, Takoi has been starting to build the butcher's table. Now I've actually chosen to make this out of steel. So instead of using, you could actually use wood, but I've used it out of steel. And we started with some steel, but if you don't have any steel, once you actually run out of that, you're going to need to go mining. So find a mountain and find some steel. Most of this stuff is all marble, and we could mine that out, but there's no point at the moment. So look around for some ore. Is that ore? No, that's compacted machinery, which is actually creates components, which is something useful for later on. So you might want to mine that out. But I couldn't see any steel there, so you might want to look at... there's nothing here. Ah, here we go. There's a big bunch of steel up here. So you can just mine that out. You can do this individually. Or you could use these order screen, so you can mine lots of stuff out. And each of those will provide you with about 30 bits of steel. So anyone who's got the mining skill will go over there and mine it, provided that's high enough on the priority list. Yeah, Takoi obviously is our miner, so he's disappearing into the night. Probably not a good idea now, because it's actually bedtime. And look, all my lovely people have gone to bed. It might be an idea at this point also to put in a torch, so they can actually see what's going on. Look at that, I haven't actually put in a door here. That was a mistake. Let's put in a quick door there, right next to the torch. Oh, Takoi's back. Obviously giving up on the whole mining thing to go to bed. Right, okay, so let's wait until morning. This early on in the game, there's not necessarily a lot you can do at night. You can plan stuff out and everything, but you don't want to give your colonists too much to do at once. So I think we're just going to fast forward the night. Okay, it's nearly morning. Whilst we wait for the colonists to get up, let me just quickly show you what you should be paying attention to with your colonists. So you choose one of them, go to their needs, and have a look at their minus numbers, their reds. As we can see, she's not very happy at the moment, and she's going to get less and less happy, and then eventually she'll go into a mood and bad things will happen. At the moment, the room's too cold. She's in a little pain, but don't worry about that for the time being. She's sharing a bedroom which she doesn't like, and therefore her sleep is also disturbed, and she's also incredibly hungry, and there's not much food at the moment, so obviously we need to definitely get on with the kitchen. And do keep an eye on your colonists from time to time, just to see if there's anything else. Like, Takoi is actually quite happy, and ate a good meal, for instance, but she's also complaining about sleeping in the cold and sharing a room. Yep, so and one of the things you need to pay attention to is cleaning, because if your place is dirty, then they will get unhappy. So on this screen, the work screen, do make sure that there are people with a cleaning skill. This tends to get neglected, it's worth pointing out, because it's so low down the priority scheme. So it's a good idea to find someone who's a bit otherwise useless, like Marta, who doesn't really do anything, and make sure that she's doing some cleaning. If you want to prioritise cleaning over anything else, like for instance art, you might want to put it onto manual priorities, where if you give it a lower number, like 1, they'll prioritise that over anything with like a number 3, even though like left things are normally higher priority. But for now, let's not worry about that, because that is a bit more advanced. It looks like at the moment she's going to clean anyway, because she's got nothing else she can do. Right, so Takoi is finishing off the kitchen, so I can show off what you need to do here. Right, so the butchery table, make sure that people are actually going to use this. So select the butcher table, press bills, press add bill, and butcher creature, and then click this, do X times, and choose forever. That means whenever there's a corpse, an animal corpse, they'll do some butchery, and turn that into raw food material. Meanwhile, the stove, also click on bills, also add bill, cook simple meal, which is the only thing you can do to start with. Oh look, Takoi's already butchering that hare. And this time what you want to do is do X times, click that, and choose do until you have X. And it basically will cook, whenever there's a raw material, 10 meals. And if there's any less than 10 in the colony, in the storeroom, they'll cook another meal. So we don't really want any more than 10 stored at any one time. Not really, because they'll start to spoil after a while. Food does spoil after a few days, unless you install a cooler and turn the room into a fridge, which I think is beyond the scope of this video, but it's something to bear in mind once you've got power up and running. So yep, at the moment, Takoi is taking some of that meat that I think we dropped in the stockpile somewhere, which is there. And she's turned it into a simple meal, which is now dumping on, also on the stockpile. As you can see there, those are the simple meals that she's prepared. There's only 2, and it'll spoil in 3 days, because it is quite warm out there. It's 19 degrees. As you can see, I've already done a really bad bit of design there, so I'm just going to quickly put in a door there. I'll also want to put the food in a room itself at some point, but I'm not going to bother now for the sake of the video. So someone's going to build a door there, so it's going to be a lot easier for her to get outside and use the stockpile. What's that? A megatherium? Ah. Hopefully it won't attack us. I don't think it will. That could be famous last words. Okay, so it will take a bit of time for our food situation to actually get kind of what you consider to be in control. She's busy turning out meals, but we haven't got much raw material at the moment. So we will have to carry on hunting and getting berries until our food here is sufficiently grown, which is going to take forever. So in the meantime, we're going to build ourselves a little research room, which is something that you should probably attend to quite early on. So build ourselves the wall, put in a door, again, make sure that you don't forget to do that. And now we need to go into production and simple research bench. And click on it, choose wood, so we're not wasting steel. Put it there so that the white circle is facing outwards. And also chop that tree down. I will want to put in floors here at some point, we're not going to bother now. So they're going to build that, which is using steel and wood. And we will need to mine out some more steel at some point, but yeah, there is. Dunlap is currently doing that as we speak, so mining out that steel. Steel is incredibly important in this game. Right, so yeah, we're going to build this bench, and only then, once we've done that, we'll be able to do any research. So let's just speed things up. So we're building up quite a good storage of wood. If you look at the top left, it tells you how many things you've got in storage piles. It doesn't count anything that's just lying around elsewhere, though. Only in your stockpiles. So we've got 800 wood, which is plenty for now. Although, do keep an eye on things. Do keep on chopping down trees as you need it, because you do burn through it very fast. So, yep, this is actually taking quite a while to build. So I am double-checking to see if... So what's Takoi doing at the moment? Takoi is dealing with the food. This is the problem. She's prioritising food over construction, which is actually probably good for our health, but it's not getting our bloody research room done. So I'm going to temporarily get someone who's a bit shit at construction in on the game, which will mean that the construction fails sometimes, so you will waste some material. But let's do it. Let's actually get this built by someone else for once. They're just eating, and hopefully we can actually... Oh, look at Alistair. He's crap. Yeah, he's constructing things really badly, but at least now we've got a door and a torch there. And we have... Come on. And we have a research bench. Yes. And now he's automatically putting in the roof, so it's not going to rain on us. Okay, so very quickly show you how to do research. It's actually telling us we need a research project. So go into there, choose... Oh, you don't actually need to select it. Just go to the research menu and choose something to research. So I'm not going to go into this too much, but let's just choose stone cutting because it will allow us to refine rock chunks, and then we can construct things out of stone instead of trees if we so desire. So anyone with a research skill will come and use this table. However, it is worth pointing out research is the last thing they'll choose to do, priority-wise. However, if you've got someone useless like Marta, who has got very little else to do, you might as well do that as well, because that means you'll spend a lot of time researching. If you really want to force the research, I could always put that to 1. Yeah, because at the moment she's I'm going to spend more time cleaning. So let's get her to do some research as well. Right, so now we need to wait till morning again. Right, so a few people are up and about, and Marta has immediately gone to the research table to start doing research. It'll take a long time to do this. Slowly, the bar will fill up and you'll get to the end of the research. That bar will also fill up just there, sort of a bar. But you'll see how things are getting on. But that does take a long time, so we're going to leave that to it. The final thing I'm going to show you, I'm skipping past a few things, but I'm trying to only cover the absolute essentials that get you started. The final thing we should look at is power. And because things will start to need power as we go along. Nothing so far has required it, but now, as we start to get into things later on, we will. Like proper lamps instead of bloody torches. So, quickly show you how to do this. There's a choice, generally in this scenario, of 3 different types of thing. Fuel generator uses wood, and there's solar power, and there's also wind turbines. And wind turbines are a bit kind of hit and miss, so I won't worry about that too much. Solar generators are good, but you will also need a battery because the sun doesn't shine at night. But you can also just use a basic wood power generator, but it's not very efficient. We're going to do the solar panel one, and because that requires a little more interesting stuff. So I'm going to bung a solar panel there. And this does require components as well as steel. Components can be mined or bought, and you probably will run out of them quite quickly. So we also need to put a battery in somewhere. A battery needs to be indoors, but it's also really ugly, so you don't want to plonk it down near where anyone works or whatever. So it's good to have batteries in a little room of their own. So just a little one, like that. Put indoor. Then we can choose a battery. And then whilst they get busy with that, I'm also going to demonstrate it by putting in a lamp. So furniture, standing lamp. And I'm also going to do one there and there. That requires a bit of steel. Standing lamp means that we don't have to keep on fueling those torches with wood. Right, nearly there. Alistair and Troy both doing some construction. And there we go. There's our solar panel. And there's our battery. At the moment, because it's the daytime, we've got full power. The yellow bar is at the top, but at night time that yellow bar will fall to the ground, and we won't actually have any power. It is worth looking at the power numbers, because these just to interpret them. Power output, that's how much the solar power generator is creating. Connected rate, that first number there, that's how much we've got spare. So if that falls below 0 into minus numbers, you're going to start to get brownouts. So you need to make sure that's positive at all times. If it does start to get below 0, you have to start building new stuff as well. So to power that lamp, you also need to put in power lines. So choose power conduits. Ideally, hang on, that lamp is already connected to the battery. However, the battery is actually connected to the generator yet. So that should sort out the lamp. However, this lamp's a bit out on its own. It's not connected to the grid, so we need to extend the wire. Try and run it round walls, the wire, because otherwise it's a bit ugly and colonists will get into bad moods and stuff. So I'm going to do it around the walls, and hopefully that should now be close enough to that power conduit to connect once the power line has actually been built. So just watch this. Hang on, let's just speed it up a bit. And there we go. Takoi is now sorting out the power conduit. And now we actually are close enough to the lamp, as you can see by the blue line. So everything is now connected. And there we go. The lights are actually lit. Oh, we forgot this one. So let's just go up there. That should be close enough. And there we go. The battery is very low at the moment, but it is slowly charging up. So at night time, everything will be good. Okay, so that's how power works. Once you've actually sorted out power, you might want to do things like install a cooler for your kitchen larder. If I put all the food into a room of its own and install a cooler, it'll keep the food cold and it'll last longer, which is something that's very crucial as your colony gets bigger. Right, okay, so I'll close up by just clicking on that, actually. Yep, so visitors will occasionally turn up in events, and you'll be able to trade with them. So let's just let's get them in. Speed things up. They're appearing from the top. Click on your colonists. So Alistair, right-click on the one with the question mark. Press trade, and as soon as they meet, you'll get the trade screen. Anything with the green number here, you can sell for money, and everything over here on the right, which has a figure, you can actually buy off them. So I could buy a really shit weapon off them, or I could either sell some of my medicine to them, or I could buy it off of them. But of course, the prices will be in their favour. I might want to buy a little bit of chocolate, and that'll give them a bit of pleasure, but they only have one to sell, so I buy one, and I might sell them some of my simple meals. Which is a bit stupid, but it gives us at least a positive amount. As you can see, it all costs silver. Basically, the silver is a dollar amount. So accept that. Over here, anything that you buy will be dropped off. Any change will be also dropped off there. So they've given us some money, which is silver, and so that'll be eventually taken to our stockpile. Okay, I think that's about everything I can show you for the basics. Everything else you'll need to experiment with and see how things are going. Cool, okay, so we've covered stockpiling, we've covered how to build things, we've covered how to hunt and grow, and we've covered how to make a kitchen, and we've done mining, we've sorted out happiness, and how to allocate work, how to do research, and how to build a little power supply, which is all Plenty to get you started, I think. Okay, so do check out my Let's Play series on this game. Also, I did a top 10 crazy scenarios video, which I think is a lot of fun, so do check that out if you want. Otherwise, subscribe for more RimWorld content, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.